Wonderful Books. I'm Khalees.
I'm Eliana. And I'm Imani. Today we're going to be talking about the story Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. We're going to be talking about three main characters who make up the story: Montag, his wife Mildred, and Captain Beatty.
Let's kick things off with Montag. He's our main character, a fireman, but not the fireman you're thinking of. In this society, firemen start fires rather than put them out. You know, they're supposed to go look for books and burn them, which is so crazy. Go ahead.
Then comes Clarice, a 17-year-old girl who doesn't fit in the world Montag thinks he knows. She's full of curiosity, she asks odd questions, and she lives in the moment. In part 1 of Fahrenheit 451, Clarice asks Montag on page 7, "Are you happy?" The question becomes the spark that works up his transformation. She asks Montag this question that is so simple, but it reveals everything he thought he knew. That moment definitely foreshadows a lot in the story. Clarice questions Montag's morals after thinking about it. Things he used to take for granted, for example, his job, his marriage, his role in society, start to feel empty. As he begins reading books, you see a conflict, a man fighting with his own ignorance and the awakening of himself.
Montag's journey isn't easy. He's not a perfect hero. He's confused, emotional, and struggles a lot. But that makes his story strong. He changes from just following the rules to somebody who will risk everything to save knowledge. And there comes an example. So here's some examples from the book that I got. He said,
"It was a pleasure to burn Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451, Part 1.
This shows Montag starting off to enjoy his job as a fireman, blindly following the rules and burning books without questions.
And then there's Mildred, Montag's wife. While Montag is waking up, Mildred is deeply asleep in every sense of the word. She's distracted from the real world. By her wall-sized TV is constantly plugged in and terrified of silence or anything that makes her feel. Mildred's the perfect symbol of the society Ray Bradbury is telling us about. Mildred isn't exactly a bad person, but she's known. She's used to avoiding discomfort. She strives to keep out any thoughts with noise and entertainment. A good quote from the story that explains this is, "She was an expert at lip reading from 10 years of apprenticeship at Seashell." Is this on? I think a good symbol that would represent her would be Seashell radios. In the beginning of the story, she tries to kill herself.
Okay, so y'all want to hear my opinion by Mildred? I absolutely hate Mildred. She treats her husband so horribly. She's so nonchalant. She doesn't care. And for some reason, she's so obsessed with these shows. But when her husband wants to talk to her and ask her about her show, she doesn't know anything. She doesn't like him. I don't know why they're married. Their marriage is stupid. The whole book is just dumb. It made me pull my hair out. I love Montag, and that's why I decided to pick Montag now. She can finish going about her.
Yeah, so when Mildred wakes up, she doesn't even remember, and she often has trouble remembering. Like in the book, it says, how funny not to remember where or when you met your husband or wife.
And yet she's the one who turned Montag in. Can y'all believe she turned in her husband for reading a book? Like, girl, you're a whole. Oh, let's really have a conversation about that. Would y'all turn y'all person in for reading a book? Like, I would want to invest in his dream with him. Like, I would want to find out, okay, he finds this so good. Let me figure out. Let me try something new for my husband that I so-called love and got married to. You know?
If we get caught, we get caught together.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if we get caught, we get caught together. Why couldn't she be like the people that she met? What was their name that he met later on when he was on the run?
Favor.
Yeah, why couldn't she be more like Favor? Like, I don't understand. But yeah, she was the one who turned him in, and the betrayal is so chilling. Like, I was hearing it, I was cold. I'm like, oh my God, y'all, I'm sad. I was sad, and it was like, it shows how deeply this system is hooked on people. Even love cannot compete with the pull of comfort and fitting in. Y'all, she just wanted to fit in with her friends. She was weird. All she cared about was TV, just like the whole entire other world. And y'all know who I think she should have been married to? Captain P. Because, girl, at this point, y'all bond way more than you and your husband, you know?
She's also the representation of escapism. What happens when we choose distraction over truth? Mildred isn't curious like Clarice or Montag. She's afraid of curiosity, and in the world that fears books, that becomes deadly.
Now let's talk about Captain Beatty, which is Montag's boss. In the beginning, he seems like a good guy, a strict leader, and a responsible boss. He enforces the book burning rules, he's quick, and he keeps an eye on Montag. Although, the more we keep reading, the more complicated he becomes.
Beatty knows a lot. He quotes Shakespeare, the Bible, and old books to explain why books are dangerous. It's scary how he used his knowledge to support ignorance. I feel like he once loved books and now he hates the meaning of them, which is so crazy because how could somebody know so much about the world or so much about books and then turn it into ignorant and make your society hate it? He knows about the Bible, he knows about old books, and he knows about Shakespeare. Some things that are so great in those things, so why not share it and love it and show it to people around you? You know, I would share it and cherish it.
He's just weird.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Captain Petey's very weird and Lord help him. Anyways, go ahead.
He's this walking contradiction. He knows too much to be ignorant, but he uses the knowledge to manipulate. An example is in part 1, page 35. Where's your common sense? None of those books agree with each other. You've been locked up here for years with a regular damn Tower of Babel. Captain Beatty is trying to make Montag question the values of the book. Captain Beatty also mocks Montag for his curiosity, but you can tell there's something personal there. It is like he's angry at Montag for asking the questions he's too afraid to ask himself.
What's your opinion on what you just read, Eliana?
Captain Beatty just likes to hide stuff. He doesn't want everyone to know.
Right, it seems
but
like
he knows.
Yeah.
it also seems like Captain Beatty's in everybody else's business, but don't want nobody in his. Like,
I
you
know.
know, like, boy, you reading all these books, but when you find out I got a book under my pillow, it's a problem, you know? Forcing yourself into my house, but I don't know nothing about what you got going on.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you feel like?
I think that's what makes Beatty's character like so tragic. He's skeptical at times, but he understands the power like behind ideas. That's why he wants to burn them and get rid of them.
Right. He wants everybody to think he's in control when there's
Yeah.
a world outside of Captain Beatty.
Yeah, some people might think he wanted Montag to kill him in the end, that he persuaded him into it because he couldn't live with the conflict anymore.
Okay. It's like Captain Beatty wants Montag to kill him. There's something sadly poetic about it. He knew the truth but was too lost to accept it. He pushed someone who still had hope to take action. Like, backstory on why I said that. I felt like he pushed Montag so much, like, give me a little, so Montag had to go find it on his own and take action, you know? You guys?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So we finished off. We got Montag the Seeker, someone who's willing to suffer for anything to reveal the truth. Mildred the Sleeper, lost in distraction, terrified of feeling, and Beatty the Cynic, someone who knows the truth but chooses to destroy it anyway.
Totally different responses to the same society. I think that's what makes Fahrenheit 451 so deep. It doesn't just warn us about the dangers of censorship. It asks us what kind of people we choose to be when faced with like uncomfortable truths.
it makes us think about how much we rely on the distractions. Are we strong enough to ask questions, to sit in silence with our thoughts, to change even when it's hard? And I want to talk more about that part because can people just sit in silence and just think to themselves without needing a distraction? I feel like that's a big thing in the world right now. Like, people always want a distraction. I feel like TikTok's a distraction also. Like, when I'm sad or when I'm bored, I distance myself with TikTok, you know? So I feel like there's a lot of distraction going on, and that's why I said what I said right there.
Well, yeah, that's a wrap for today's episode of Burning Questions. We want to hear from you. Who do you find the most compelling, Montag, Mildred, or Captain Beatty?
Let's keep this conversation going. You can find us on socials at Burning Questions Pod. If you like today's deep dive, be sure to subscribe, share, and leave us a review.
Next week is basically summer, so catch us next year. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, wait!
Until then, keep asking burning questions. Bye.
And I'm Lonnie.
Welcome to the show. Oh,
Vehicles out first.
we gotta go. We gotta go.